Running through my mind all day, waiting for her show to play. Turn your radio on, she's gonna play your favorite.
The Brandi Show. This is take two. Hi, my name is Brandi Richard Thompson, and this is the Operation Growth Show, the show where you can grow through what you go through. Let's get into it. So, today we are talking about the search for something else. And although it might sound, or maybe I'm causing it to sound kind of mysterious, it's really a conversation about some of our desire to have something new versus to really figure out what we want, which could actually be just something else. This show idea actually came from two places, one of which was a conversation that I had with a great friend of mine who is a leader in my organization, who was talking about how everyone just seems to want something new. And I was like, no, everyone just seems to want something else. Sometimes it's not that we all want something new. We don't even know what new is. We New by definition is not something that we really know about, but something else, something other than where we are right now, something other than the crap that we're having to deal with right now, that may very well be exactly what we want. So, actually, it's good that this is the second time that I am doing this show because more stuff is coming out and I feel way more comfortable. So, maybe a take two is a wonderful thing, which also lends itself to this show title. So, welcome to the show. We're going to get right into our Operation Growth moment. So, let's get started. So I said that there were two reasons why we were doing this show this way this time and well, this episode. And the other reason is because of a conversation that I had with one of my coaches that is world renowned, one that I learned so much from. We were talking about this concept of coaching and how sometimes coaching will cause people to leave things, like leave their relationship, leave what they know, leave their jobs. And the challenge is that some people don't want coaching to occur, therapy even to occur, because there's a chance that people will change their minds about things that they have been doing, or things that feel accustomed to them, that they're comfortable with. And we've seen this recently in relationships that have gone south, people who've decided that they don't want to be together anymore for a variety of different reasons. But what I would offer and what I thought about as soon as this came up, as soon as the conversation started, as soon as he said, coaching is bad because it makes people want to leave things, I was like, no, dog, I don't think so. And let me tell you why. Because sometimes what happens in the coaching process, even what happens in the book reading process, the quote reading process, the new insight process, someone gives you this new insight and you're like, oh my gosh, this is life changing. I want to go do it. It's my thing. I'm going to go do this thing. And then you realize, maybe not. Part of the challenge is that this new earth shattering insight is not the final destination. This new insight is something to explore, something to meditate over, something to do work around, but it doesn't mean that as soon as you get that insight, you make this change and you move on with your life. Now, there is a caveat to that I will share a little bit later that has to do with your gut and what you really know to be true, what you know is something that you should have been doing your whole life. It's kind of one of the ways that I came into coaching is when I started the coach training class. I was like, this is it. Like, this is the thing I've been wanting to do my whole life. And This is the thing that I've actually been doing my whole life and didn't even know that it was called coaching. Oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. Um, but those are rare, few and far between. So, um, out notwithstanding your gut, notwithstanding this conversation about something new, I want to give you an example, which is my personal growth moment around this concept. So there's this movie called Eat, Pray, Love that was super popular back in the day. I went to go see it. I was amazed, blown away, because it was based off of this book and this beautiful woman who was in this relationship that was just soul crushing, was like, I can't do this anymore. I love you, but this is not really the place that I want to be. I'm going to travel all over the world. I'm going to leave you. And then along the way, I'm going to find this handsome, hunky guy that I'm going to fall badly in love with and, have sex all over with, whatever. And I ran out of the movie theater. I was with one of my really good friends, Tiffany, and was like, this is it. Like, this is my life. I don't want my relationship anymore. I'm feeling like I'm, oppressed in this relationship. I need to go and do something else. And so I run out, and I didn't make the immediate call like, dude, I don't want to be in this relationship with you anymore. But I did make up in my mind that this is telling me something that I've known, that this isn't the relationship for me and I need to move towards exiting this relationship, which I did. And yeah, so did I think it out further? No. Did I go back to the book and think about all of the different twists and turns and all of the things that she did that weren't necessarily like me? Like the fact that I didn't have enough money to travel all over the world, leave my job, and put my stuff in storage for so many months to eat my way through Thailand. No. So the challenge with this something new, excitement, and let's go, and I just received this great insight, is that that's not where it stops. And that's why there are coaching contracts where you stay with coaches for a while to help you through not only the initial insight, but helping you to game out what it is that ultimately you want to do with that insight, what that really triggers inside of you. And there is work associated with that. So wonderful to have the insight, wonderful to run out of the theater screaming, I know what I need to do. Oh my God, they never should have let me see this movie or read this book or find this quote on social media. But there's more to the story than that. And so we will be right back to help you to figure out what more to the story you can incorporate so that you don't make hasty decisions that leave you in positions that aren't exactly where you want to be. Join me next year for Black Girl Magic School, and another opportunity for you to learn some of the content that is shared in Black Girl Magic School is through the class that I just launched that is about the women behind the Women of the Women King. So if you haven't watched that movie, check it out. While it's still in theaters, it's wonderful to see it on the big screen, even with your mask or whatever you feel comfortable and safe with in the theater. But please check that movie out. Another movie that I would recommend, well, Come to Class. Come to Class so you understand the history of the women of Dahomey and the women who are the real women behind this amazing movie. But another movie that you should check out, and a phenomenal actress that you will get to know, is the woman who plays Mamie Till in the upcoming movie Till. I'm recommending this movie because she is amazing and you will want to see her. And I haven't even seen it yet. But I'm also recommending this movie because they said that there will not be any trauma visualized against Black people. And I know all of us sometimes don't want to see more images of trauma against our people. And so that made me feel really great, along with the fact that her portrayal of Mamie Till is everything, because I know she's an amazing actress. And so I knew it was going to be everything when I knew that she was in the role. So watch Till. Watch The Woman King. Come to class and learn all of the history behind it, and then get your coins together to come to class next year in Black Girl Magic School, because you don't want to miss it. We'll do lots of things, and some of them will be in person, and I'm super excited about that program. So beyond that, let's get into our show today about this need for something else. So I went and pulled some definitions because, I like to talk off the cuff on these shows, but I felt like it was very important for us to have some data to inform our decisions today. So when we talk about this concept of new versus something else, let's talk about the definition of the word new. And new means not existing before, introduced, discovered recently. Like I discovered Eat, Pray, Love because I had never read the book. If the book hadn't been made into a movie, maybe I would have stayed in that. Well, Lord, let's hope I would not have. But anywho, the word else, conversely, means different, instead, besides. And I'd like to offer that else, in my mind, is more of an alternative. So new, shiny, new, never been done before. Else, alternative, different, instead, besides. There's an energy to new. There's an energy to else. And sometimes when we get super excited about new, else will no longer do. An alternative, or even thinking about staying in the place that we're at, is a non-starter because we're so excited about the bright, shiny new of new. So when we think about how we look at our current opportunities and what's going on in our lives, a lot of times in our lives, we fail, we have some challenge, we feel uncomfortable, something happens. There's typically some grain of sand in our eye or challenge that causes us to want to move from what we currently know, what's been comfortable, to something else. We see it with individuals who want to come into the United States from South America and countries down there who were fine until there was a war, or until they were told that they were going to be killed, or something happened to them very traumatic that caused them to want to do something different, something that would take them out of harm's way, that would keep them from feeling whatever challenging feelings they are feeling as a result of what's going on in their lives currently. And this could be as it relates to your job. This could be as it relates to a relationship. This could be as it relates to some project that you're working on. This idea of new versus else will show up in so many areas. And I think it's really important that we're talking about it because of that. So when we talk about this desire to have something new. It's not necessarily that we want to venture into uncharted territory or, take the road from Venezuela to the United States over 40 days. I hope you all are watching those stories because it's really amazing that someone would take that on. It shows that there had to be something so challenging in their lives in their current situation that will cause them to want to have to do that. But it reminded me of the fact that we don't necessarily just want to move into uncharted territory because where we currently are is sometimes extremely comfortable. And a lot of times, what keeps people from making the changes they need to make in their life is the idea that the current situation, the status quo, is so comfortable. The money is right, the comfort in the house is right. Moving into a new opportunity is just unthinkable because where you are just makes so much sense. And so what we've learned from the pandemic even is that home and what we're accustomed to, the family that we were raised in, the people who helped to shape us, all of those things, the community that we're a part of, are extremely important. And some people decided during the pandemic that they would make a change, uproot their lives, go back home, go to places that they were familiar with because these were things that they knew and things that they had gotten away from by making these decisions to move on to something new and better, and then realizing that what they really wanted was something that was a part of their memory, their history, something that they knew that they could rely on that would feel comfortable to them. And so when we talk about this conversation of deciding about whether or not you want something new or something else, part of it is realizing that what is new and shiny, you really don't know anything about other than research that you do or what other people have told you or what you're guessing that opportunity or next step could bring if it's new. And I told you the only saving grace to make quick decisions about something new for me that I can get with is this idea of it coming from your gut, like this sense of knowing immediately that this thing is the thing that will take you where you are trying to go in your life. This thing will take you towards your destiny. This thing, this decision, this new job opportunity, etc., is exactly what you need to move you forward in your life. And I believe that all of us have that inner sense of knowing and intuition where we can make those gut decisions about something new. But beyond that, most of the decision making that we're doing is based on what we know, the outcomes that we've seen before, what we have seen in our lives, what we are comfortable with. Um, and so when we talk about making these decisions, I think it's important for us to integrate a process to determine whether or not it's good and gut feeling to move on with something new, or whether it is good to think about what really we want and whether or not something else, an alternative, a besides in the current space or adjacent to the current space or based on something will work for you in this moment. Now, I am not telling anybody, especially people who went out and did amazing, great, phenomenal things during the pandemic or any other time, went with their gut, made a great decision, and moved on with their lives, that they are wrong. Not doing that. Nor am I saying that there's never a time for you to do something new. But I want you as an individual to be able to make good decisions for yourself based on what it is that is really in front of you, what you really would like to have, and not just make a hasty or rash decision that you may regret in the future. There are tons of people who made amazing decisions to move on and do something brand new. And there are also people who made those decisions who have a sense of regret. In fact, there are a lot of people who, as a part of the pandemic, may have made some decisions that they regret now, because they're in new situations that are not very different than the situation that they were running from. And so, this is why this process, I hope, will help you to make really good decisions about what it is that you want to do when the sand is in your eye, when the challenge comes, when you've decided that what's going on in your current environment is not what you want to continue and you want something new. Let's go through a process that will help us to ensure that we're not just running out of the theater and breaking up with someone. All right, so here we go. Before you jump into a new thing, consider the pain point. What is the pain point that you're solving for? Meaning, like, what's the equation? What is it that is going on? What is the specific piece of sand that is in your eye? Is the sand that's in your eye the fact that your boss yells at you every day? Is the sand the fact that you don't have enough money to make ends meet? Is the sand that you really want to be around your family? After all of these years, your parents are getting older. You want to be more kid centered in your family. Do you want to be able to go to the games and your commute doesn't allow it, or the work environment that you're in doesn't allow it? Is the sand the fact that your child was inconsolable because you weren't there for a big important dance recital or track meet or something that was important to them? What is the specific piece of sand? Because if we're solving for that, then the outcome will hopefully make you happy. If we're not solving for that piece of sand and we put the band-aid of more money, more prestige, a bigger title, more quote unquote opportunity, the opportunity to move somewhere else or get something paid for, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, over what the actual pain point is, then we haven't fixed the problem. And the pain point will rear itself again, its head again in the new situation. Because the more money and all the things that you're getting will not alleviate the fact that you can't get home to your daughter's recital. Will not alleviate the fact that your spouse really just wants you to spend more time with them, and this new role demands even more time because you're leading more people, you have more responsibilities, there is no work-life balance. If you have a health issue that you need to address and you can't address the health issue because now you're in a new environment where you don't know the people and you're working even harder to show that you are able to do the work, be a team player, et cetera, et cetera. So this is all kind of part of this conversation that we've constantly had on this Operation Growth show and that I have with all of my clients about what is it that you want? And in this situation, what is it that you don't want? What is causing you to not be able to sleep at night and want to move into a new space and do something different? What is it? All right. So, number one, identify the pain point. Get all the way down to the root cause of the pain point. If there are 5 pain points, jot them all down. Figure out what all the painting is going on is so that you can properly address it. Right? Number 2, once you've determined what the pain points are, now what I'd like for you to do is envision a world where there are no pain points. Those pain points are gone. There are no challenges there. You have no challenge getting to your daughter's recital. You have no challenge sleeping at night. Your spouse is happy because y'all are able to go out to eat twice a week. You know, live in the home that you want. You're near your family. You have access to your culture. All of these things have been removed. And your life is gorgeous and lovely and amazing. How amazing could it be? Write it out. Take a piece of paper, draw on the paper. What does it look like? Blue sky, what your life will be sans without pain points. Once you have done that, then you've opened yourself up to this larger universe, this larger space of being, an opportunity to really see what your possibilities are. The sand is gone. The pee at the bottommost mattress for the princess is eliminated. You don't have to feel that when you go to sleep anymore. What does that feel like to you? What does it look like? What does it create? What is this new world that creates? And I want you to be as boisterous and over the top and like put it all out there. All of the things that you could have without these pain points. Because I don't want you to limit yourself by what the current situation is or what you think may potentially limit you. This is a free form, free flowing, brainstormy thought. Like this is the freest you could ever want to be. Right? So you're going to jot this down. You're going to know what the outer limits. You're going to see it, visualize it, feel it. Right? And then, well, there are no outer limits. Let me take that back. And then finally, you're going to define your something else. So now you have that opportunity. You've seen what could potentially be without these pain points, how free you could be, how you can run through the streets yelling, whatever. You can be productive at work. You can feel a sense of accomplishment. You can smile during the day. No more tears all day. All of the things that you could potentially be. Now you can define what something else looks like. Now with that information, with that expanse of thinking, you can get really crystal clear about what it is that you need to no longer have this sand in your eye, this pee under your mattress, this challenge in your life. Right? Right. So this statement of definition about your something else looks something like, I will have autonomy in my schedule. If the pain point is that your schedule is restricted. So we started out with identifying our pain points. Now we're moving into a space where we have a clear definition of what that something else is. May not be quote unquote something new, but it's definitely something else. And once you know what those things are, now you're on a fact-finding mission. Where can those things exist? Is it possible that those things exist in my organization? Does someone already benefit from those things? Is it possible that there's another role that will allow me to benefit from those things? Do I have the experiences that would allow me to move into that role? What is the quickest way to get from the pain point that I'm suffering from that's keeping me from living the life that I would like to live to getting to the point of being able to live in more of this utopia that I have envisioned? How do I go about doing that? What's the quickest line? So now we're asking people, is this possible? Can this happen? These are the kinds of things that I want in my life. And now I just need for you to let me know if this is possible here. These are the things that I need. These are my non-negotiables. And so the something else could be in your current work environment. The something else could be in your current family life. If there are challenges in your family life that are like causing you to lose your mind, this is what I need, family member. This is what I need, spouse. This is what I need, child or parent or friend or whomever, because now I know what the pain point is. I want to cure the cancer. I don't want the cancer to come back and metastasize because I didn't even know what it was. And I was trying to deal with a mole when it was actually cancer. Get where I'm going with this? I hope so, because you can't tell me right now. So we're defining what the something else is, and then we're asking for what we need. And this is actually a bonus because I wasn't going to talk about this, but we're asking for what we need. And we can ask in the current place that we're in. We can ask with the current people that we're in before you cut everybody off, before you run away, before, you make these big, drastic new decisions. I just can't. I can't with these people. I can't with this job. I can't. You ask for what you need. And then when they respond to you, then you know what you need to do. Then you're in better position to figure out how to ask for that from others, how to ask for that from other people in your life. Because throughout this process of the something else versus the new, you are also growing your ability to ask for what you want. You're growing your ability to be able to make clear to other people what it is that you want and need. And sometimes the reason why you are still in the same job, the reason why you're still in the same relationship, the reason why you're still having the same challenges is because you need to do that work. You need to get over your issue with asking for what you want. I cannot tell you how many clients and people that I work with that would rather eat flies than ask for what they want. It's that serious. It's like, but I don't want to be an imposition. I don't want to, be a burden or a challenge for somebody else. Meanwhile, their eyes are just watering with sand. Like they're in constant pain, constant challenge. So, gave you extra. Most probably that's what was in divine order. That's why I had to do this show again. And I hope that as you start to think about what it is that you are grappling with in your current role or in your current space, etc., that you start to look at whether or not you really want something new or whether you really want something else. And what that else could be, where you could potentially find it, and that you use the tools of memory, of history, of, what worked for you before, what made you feel good before, to construct what you want moving forward. So that you're not starting off from like a blank slate necessarily. You're starting off from a position of understanding and bringing to bear all of what you know about what you want, has worked for you in the past, what hasn't worked for you in the past, in order to create this new life that you want, so that you can rid yourself of the sand and not just pick up a different kind of piece of sand at the new place or with the new person or in the new situation. So that is your growth for this week. I hope it is helpful and helps you to identify really what's this whole thing with something else, because I guarantee you these opportunities will continue to come. So we'll be right back. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know if you have an Operation Growth moment that you would like us to feature right here on the Operation Growth Show. Use hashtag Operation Growth and tag us at Brandi Richard Thompson or at Operation Growth We get stories from all over the place, and we would love to hear from. All right. So, active personal development is my way of life, and I hope that it is becoming yours as well. So, thank you for joining me for the Operation Growth Show. I hope to see you next week, where we have another amazing episode of growth just for you. But before we leave, I want to give you an opportunity to do some of your own growth work, and that is through defining your something else. What is it that is the thing that will help you to be as successful as you can possibly be, that directly answers a pain point that you are having in your life? I hope that you will take an opportunity, figure out what that is, and utilize it to help you to be even better.